your Bible with you? Cool. Turn to Numbers chapter 13, if you will, please. Numbers 13. It's good to see my friend Billy, man. It's sad to see him go, but it's good to see him for a little bit. I like him. I don't care if y'all do or not. And so, y'all look at me like, all right, we could care less. And so, hi, girls.
Hi.
See those girls right there before service? They were upstairs with Kim praying for you guys. Praying for service. They even skipped eating until right at the end. And today was the day that we get to serve our kids. We serve at Thanksgiving, and my wife and me and my wife get to serve, and we serve them ham and turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans and corn and baked beans and all the fixings. And I absolutely love this. This is my favorite meal that we get to do because I get to serve them, and I love it because they deserve it. Amen? Amen. Y'all got to wake up now. Lord have mercy. Y'all got to wake it up. Okay. Yeah, girls are going to have to help me now. Numbers 13, 4 through 15 reads this way. Now these were their names from the tribe of Reuben. I'm not going to read all these to you, but I'll read. Yeah. Shammah, the son of Zechur, the tribe of Simeon. Saphat, the son of Hori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. From the tribe of Issachar, Engel, the son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hosea, the son of Nun. From the tribe of Benjamin, Paltai, the son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel, the son of Zodai. From the tribe of Joseph, that is, from the tribe of Manasseh, Gadai, the son of Suze. From the tribe of Dan, Amiel, the son of Gemaliah, I think it's right. From the tribe of Asher, Sitha, the son of Michael. From the tribe of Naphtali, I think it's Nabai, is that right? Close enough? The son of Boshai? Okay, I'll say that. From the tribe of Gad, Geuel, the son of Machi. These are the names of the men whom Moses sent to spy out the land, and Moses called Hosea, the son of Nun, Joshua. If you will, pray with me, please. Father, in the name of Jesus, I ask that you move by your power, your spirit, and anointing upon me today. Help me to be the best I can be for you today. Bless us today. Comfort our hearts, God, for those things that are lacking in our lives, God. Bring us into the place that you need us to be, to hear your word. And Father, we give you praise and honor. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. And everybody said, Amen. I'm going to talk to you for just a little bit about opportunity. I'm an opportunity guy. I believe that God opens doors. I believe that God opens doors that nobody can open but only God. I'm an opportunity person. I believe that God put you in the right place at the right time to go get a drink. When somebody's there that God meant for you, I mean to meet right then, right now. And I think you need to be ready when the opportunity knocks. I know most people who say they're lucky aren't lucky, they're prepared. Because when the opportunity shows itself, they're ready. So, I always bring things back to sporting events. I don't know why, I just do. But if somebody's sitting on the bench, they're a turned ankle away from being on the floor. And so you have to be ready, you have to prepare yourself as though you're going to start the game, even though you may have never started a game in your life, because as soon as someone turns their ankle, they call your name. You need to be ready. You can't sit there and say, I didn't have my shoes tied. Let me tie my shoes. Call timeout so I can tie my shoes. Let me get my shorts on right. Let me get my shirt right because I wasn't ready to play. And so whenever you get an opportunity, God gives you that opportunity, you have to be ready to step into the opportunity. And so the names of the spies of Israel, God gives us all the names of the spies of Israel. Why? Because He wants you to know who He gave opportunity to. He gave them an opportunity. What was their opportunity? To turn the world upside down. They were about to change everything. They had an opportunity to change the entire scope of the world at that time. They were given the opportunity. A door was opened before them that had never been opened to mankind before. They were fixing to be from slave fixing. That's about Okies. I'll get at it. They were about to become from slave to king. Yeah. Come on, help me just a minute. They were about to go from this opportunity of just being free from the Egyptians to now being kings of a land. Yeah. Now being in charge of a land. Now being in charge, they were given a chance to live better than anyone in their family had ever lived. Come on now, help me. Everybody in their family had been slaves for 400 years. They had been held captive in slavery. Yeah. They were now about to be kings. Come on on. They were given a chance to live better. God had placed in front of them a place to effect the change and change the entire face of a nation. They were about to change everything that they knew was about to turn.
Right. Come on.
I want y'all to get with me, so I'm going to come down and talk to you for a minute. I don't want nobody sleeping back here. Rise and shine and give God the glory. Okay, I want everybody up. Y'all awake?
Yeah.
Olivia, you look like you're sleepy, okay? All right, so Olivia would not eat anything. She didn't eat any ham. She ate this much turkey and like 4 kernels of corn. Whew, I'm full. That's all she ate. I couldn't get her to eat anything. She ate dessert though, didn't she? She ate dessert. And so I'm glad to have you girls with us tonight. Does anybody know you're down here?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to get a phone call. Hey, where's all these girls? Okay. All right. So listen. They were about to change the world. Everything in front of them was about to change. Everything they knew was about to change. And can I share with you that God has opened doors in front of you right now that everything in your life can change if you'll just simply walk through them. Amen. If you'll just be prepared to walk through them. Amen. Many of us don't walk through doors because we're not ready.
Right.
I'm not ready. I'm scared. I'm not ready. I don't have my finances aren't in order. My shoes aren't tied. My shorts aren't. Does anybody remember the shorts on backwards when Doug Gottlieb had his shorts on backwards and the crowd was chanting, "Shorts on backwards! Shorts on backwards!" And they stood around him and had to turn his shorts around and say, "Nobody remembers that?" That was on national TV on ESPN. He never has lived it down. And she had his shorts on backwards. The Pistol Pete was backwards, and so the guy stood around him and he pulled his shorts off and turned them around and pulled them back up. Honest to God, true story. National television. And so he wasn't prepared. His shorts were on backwards. And so they chanted shorts on backwards. So maybe sometimes we don't go through doors because our shorts are on backwards. Maybe we're afraid to walk through that door because we're not ready. We're not prepared for what God has in store for us because, as Brother Dean said, are you really ready? Are you really ready for what God's doing? Come on now. God has placed us in front of them. God put a place that affect change in the world. They were on the verge of turning the world upside down. Everything in this world was about to change. God gave them an opportunity. They were going from slave to king. They were going from a land they didn't plant. They were going to a land they didn't build. They were going to a land they didn't purchase. They were going to something that God had given them. Amen. Yes. Let me just share something with you. Can I tell you that God has taken you to a place that you didn't purchase? He purchased it for you. Can I tell you another secret? You didn't plant it. He planted it. Can I tell you another secret? He didn't say, everybody go. He just said, you to go. Come on. What do you mean? He didn't open the door to the entire world. He opened the door to Israel.
Come on.
Even for 40 years they were in the desert. He didn't open the door again, did he? Nope. It was for them and for them alone. There's doors in your life that are closed, and they're just waiting for you to step through.
Yeah, cool.
There's doors in our lives that are closed. I'll just put myself in the lump there. There's doors in our lives that are closed, and God's just waiting for us to step through them and prepare ourselves to step through them. Listen, there's healing. I love what Brother Dean said. He said there's a difference between walking in healing and living and being healed.
Come on.
I say it this way sometimes: do you want a miracle or do you want to be blessed?
Come on, man.
When you want a miracle, that means baby, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
How many have ever needed a miracle? Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
When you're at a point of a miracle, baby, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
God, only you can do it. Because listen, my MasterCards, we're tapped out, God. The bank, the account's at zero. Actually, it's minus. The Visa's full, the MasterCard's full, and the Discover's full. I don't know what I'm going to do, God. We got to have a miracle.
Yes, Lord.
Or you can be blessed and never have to do that.
Right.
I love that. I love that. God gave them an open door to their destiny, expecting them to walk through into His promise. God has given you an open door into your destiny. Are you going to step through it, or are you going to just hang out?
Come on.
You have an opportunity to step through a door that God has given you. Come on. There's a door open right now. There's a big old wide door open right now.
Amen.
He's opened it up just for you.
Yes. Yes, God.
Oh, I don't believe that just for me. Yes. There's doors that God opens just for you. Listen, there's things in your life that I can never do. There's things that God has for you that I don't need and I can't touch. There's things that God has given. I heard people say this before. If you don't want your blessing, I'll take it. I disagree with that because it's your blessing.
Yeah.
Come on.
You can't take my blessing.
Right.
I disagree with that.
Come on.
I'm not mad at them for saying that. I know it sounds cool and people shout when they say that. But I understand what they're saying is if you don't want to shout, I get it. I get what they're trying to do. But I disagree with the theology of if Doug don't want his blessing, God will give it to me. No, because it's Doug's blessing.
Yes.
Right. It has his name on it.
Amen.
It was written to him by God. That's a good way to put it. Birthright. It's his. It's not mine. But God's not short on blessing. Just because Doug has his, don't mean that God doesn't have mine. He's got me. And so he can open the door for me where I can step into my blessing. I can step into my promised land. I can step into what God has for me. So missed opportunity is this. Don't be one of those people that misses the opportunity that God's given you. Don't go to the end of your life and say, man, I wish I had.
Amen.
Oh, I wish I hadn't done this, or I wish I had done that. Oh, God, I wish. Don't wish your life away. Don't wish your life away and say, oh, God, if I wish you just told me, God, I would have done it. No. Do it first and God will show you. Come on, help me just a minute. Listen, they were on the verge of turning the world upside down. Everything was about to change. They were going to slave to kings. God gave them an open door to their destiny, expecting them to walk through it. God doesn't open doors that He doesn't expect you to walk through. God opens doors and He expects us to go, okay, and walk through them. And when we don't, He goes, when you get ready, let me know. When you get ready, let me know. God gave them open doors to their destiny. Surely it flows with milk and honey. And 27 through 33 in the same chapter. 27 through 33. And they told him and said, we went into the land where you sent us, and truly flows with milk and honey. And this is the fruit. Nevertheless, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we have saw the descendants of Anak there. 33. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains. And the Canaanites dwell by the sea along the banks of the Jordan. Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once, take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men who had gone up and said, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they gave the children of Israel a bad report of the land which they spied out, and the land through which they had gone through as spies in the land that devours its inhabitants. And all the people whom they saw are in the middle of men of great stature. And we saw giants. The descendants of Anak came from the giants. We are like grasshoppers in our own sight. And so were we in their sight. Surely it flows with milk and honey. God opened up a door for you, and surely it flows with milk and honey. The place that God has for you, surely it flows with milk and honey. But we see ourselves as grasshoppers, or less than a grasshopper. We see ourselves as not worthy to have the milk or the honey of God. Somebody better help me tonight. I didn't get to preach Sundays. You got to help me. So listen. Surely God has given us land of milk and honey. Surely God has blessed us with greatness. Surely God has given us the best of the best. Can I share with you? I felt bad for Dean tonight because he was given very little notice. Because things just happened. I felt bad because I know that God has given us, and we did the best we could do, okay? And I apologize to Dean for that. But we've been given the best that God has given us, and we gave God the best that we could give tonight. And I apologize to Dean because we didn't know what was going to happen until it happened. We didn't plan for Lisa to be sick. We didn't plan for Jamie not to be here. We didn't plan for David to make 2 trips in and out to his house and back because we had to have the base and base amp up at the street because we didn't know. And it's just how it happens. It's just life. But God has given us the very best, and I think we ought to offer God our very best. Amen. Amen. Everything we have, we ought to offer God our very best, and we ought to give Him everything that we have, because if God has opened up a door and it flows with milk and honey, then my God, somebody ought to take up and get a bucket for the milk and get some bread for the honey. Somebody ought to do something and get ready to step into what God has for you today. Listen, we've seen the place that God has and God would have us to go. We've seen it. Yeah. Amen. Listen, I'm so sick of property sitting over there with nothing on it. I say that, but you don't have any idea how it tears me up inside and how it churns in my stomach all the time. I've seen it. I've seen where we need to go. I've seen what we need to do. I've seen the milk and I've seen the honey. I know what's over there. I know what the potential is. I know where we're going. I know what we're doing. Listen, I know, I have it in my spirit. I know what we're doing. But guys, we've got to step through a door. Have we ever, listen, we have the evidence of His promise. God has so much given us the evidence of His promise. God has blessed us beyond measure. Listen, I don't know any church of our size that's able to do what we're able to do. I don't know any church of our size that has the abilities and the talents that we've gotten through God. I don't know any church of our size that has the leaders that we have. I don't know anybody in a church of our size that God has just laid His hand upon and said, listen, I'm going to bless them, and they're going to walk through a door. And we stand at the door and say, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm worried. How shall we pay for thus and so? If God opens the door, step through it. If God opens the door, step in it. If God says, listen, if God gives us an opportunity, I think we need to take it. I don't want to have another missed opportunity. We have the evidence of His promise. We know that what He has told us is true.
Amen.
How many, I say this all the time, I'm tired of saying this. How many slick-haired, shiny-shoed preachers have to come through here and testify and prophesy and call you out, lay hands on you and say, thus saith the Lord?
Right.
How many?
Come on.
Before you go, oh, okay, I get it. How many slick-haired, shiny-shoed preachers have to come through here and say the same thing that God's told you for the last 20 years? How long? How many of them? How many offerings do you have to give to the same prophecy?
Right.
Help me, somebody.
Go preach.
It's unbelievable the amount of talent and the leadership we have in this church. Unbelievable. It's untapped. It's untapped. It's a resource we haven't tapped into, and that's partially my fault and partially your fault. But I'll take the blame because my name's on the sign and on the desk. And so I'll take the blame. But understand this. God has blessed this place with leaders. God has blessed this place with talent. God has blessed this place with financial situations. God has blessed this place with healing. God has blessed this place with financial blessing. He's blessed this place. And I think it's about high time we step through into His promise. Listen, we know what He told us is true. But to get the honey, you got to face some bees. Come on. I promise you this. You're not going to get honey out of a honeycomb without having some smoke and a little hoodie thing with a net. If you do it, you're going to get stung. Because bees don't give up honeycomb without a fight.
That's right.
And the devil don't give up land without a fight.
That's right.
The devil don't give up property, his property, he thinks is his property, without a fight. The devil don't give up souls without a fight. The devil doesn't give up territory without a fight. So to get the honey, you got to face some bees. To get the milk, you got to control the cow.
Come on.
You can't just be chasing a cow with a bucket. You got to get it under control. Easy, Bessie. Easy, Bessie. Or as the Mulan, down, Bessie. Okay. I love Mulan. Now listen. There's only one way to receive honey. One way. You take it from the hive. That's how you get it. The bees don't come and say, hey, would you like to be in partnership with me? I'll produce honey, you give us pollen. No. Bees are territorial at their hive. You have to take it from the hive. To get milk, you have to take it from the cow. The cow doesn't walk up to you and say, please milk me. Please milk me. No. You have to take it from the cow. They don't give it up voluntarily. This land that God has promised us, we have to take it. What land is that? Look around you. Look at the mission field. I call it Seminolia. Look at it. Look at the mission field around you tonight. Look around you at the listen, I don't know this. I don't know anybody. I'm not looking at anybody, but I know this in my spirit tonight. Tonight, there's someone right now getting high within a block radius of this church. Right now, there's somebody cooking meth in their home to get high. Right now, there's somebody who's been drinking since they got off work. Right now. Right now, there's somebody who's hoping. I thought Rick fell down. There's somebody at home right now hoping that their husband or wife doesn't beat them up tonight. You say wife? Yes, my cousin was married to a woman one time that nearly beat him to death with a wine bottle while he slept. And he went to jail. Because he's the guy. That she nearly beat him to death had God not woken him. And I say God, he wasn't living for the Lord, but I know it was God that woke him up because he heard his son. She told their son, who was little at the time, that, hey, go get in your own bed. And that woke him up. And she took a wine bottle and tried to kill him and tried to beat him to death. And he was able to block it and survive. And then she called the police and pulled her hair and rubbed her neck to make it look like he choked her. And he went to jail. Yeah. Well, how do you know that happened? How do you know it's true? Because why would he lie about it to me? He's not going to tell me a lie about it. So I say, man or wife, there's somebody tonight who's just hoping that there's enough food for tomorrow. There's somebody tonight hoping that the city made a mistake and they don't turn their water off tomorrow. There's somebody tonight hoping that OG&E doesn't turn their electric off tomorrow. Somebody tonight in Seminolia is looking around hoping and looking for a miracle in their life. There's somebody tonight that is panicked and don't know what to do because if I get my utilities cut off, they're going to kick me out of my house. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Where am I going to take my children? Somebody tonight is in that desperate situation. I know we're not. I know some of us aren't. But some of us are. And the land that God has promised us, we have to take it.
Yes, amen.
Well, what do we do, Brother Jeff? I'm so glad you asked. Money's not the answer. It's not the answer.
Right.
The answer is how to be a good steward with the money you have.
Amen.
What does that mean? Teach people about God and how to live for God.
Amen.
Teach people about Jesus Christ and how to live, that there's a better way. Well, if they don't listen, then they're gonna have a circle of hell in their life. They're gonna have a cyclical hell. What does that mean? A cyclical hell? It means every month they're gonna have the same hell in their life until they get tired of it. They're gonna have the same situation over and over and over and over and over again until they're tired of it. And so let me just share with you just a minute. We have a place called Seminolia that we've got to reach for Jesus Christ. I talked to a man who's a big missions guy. And I said, if you were coming to Seminole, Oklahoma, what would you do? I'm just looking at it as a mission field. If you were coming, that's the reason I call it Seminolia, is because I had to put another name on it. Let's say if Seminolia is a country that doesn't know about Christ, what would you do? What would you do? What was the first thing you would do? And he told me the first thing I would do a prayer walk. I'd walk through the town and I'd pray and God give me guidance. God give me wisdom, what to do. I know that Kim and Stacy and Becky used to walk. They used to call it the prayer walk from her house to the property and walk around the property and walk back to her house. And they used to call it the prayer walk. They used to do that together back in the day. And I don't know what, I take this guy's advice to heart, and I may have to do that. I don't know what else to do, but I know this is the land that God has given us. I know this is the property that God has given us. I know these are the people that God has given us. I know this is the heart that this church has got to have. It's got to have a heartbeat for the people of this city, or else we are no good to this city.
Yes.
I don't want another social club that people come to and sit around in and talk about how good they are and leave and just, that's not me and that's not what I want. And if that's what you want, I'm the wrong guy because I'm not him. And I'm not that guy. I want to be able to, in all facets of ministry, be supportive of this city and do something that's progressive in this city and do something that's real in this city. Listen, they're not willing to go back. I'm running out of time, but they're not willing to go face the bees and the beast. The spies were not willing to go face the beast. Yeah. They weren't willing to go face the beast. Yeah. They wanted it easy. Right. Wait a minute, it's the promised land. So why is it I have to work for it? If God said, I've been in this church, and guys, I've been in this church a long, long time. I've heard this prophecy in this church. Every place you set your foot, God's going to give you. I've heard that prophecy. I've heard this prophecy in this church. God is going to use this church to save this city. I've heard that prophecy in this church. I've heard this prophecy. If you do not, God will remove his hand off. I've heard that prophecy. So all prophecy has to be about how wonderful you are. Most prophecy in the Old Testament was about stopping. In the newfangled prophecy now, it's all about God's going to give you money. But before, it's about God wants to stop, and He wants to stop now, and if you don't stop it, He's going to knock your head off. That was kind of the old style prophecy. Now, I'm not saying He's up there waiting to knock your head off. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this, is it's not always about how wonderful you are. Sometimes it's about, I have someone against you.
That's right, come on.
Some of it is, I see how good you do, but there's something you're not doing that I've asked you to do. And so not all prophecies like that, but I've heard all three of those prophecies in this church, about this church. But they're not willing to go fight the beast. They're not willing to face the beast. Nevertheless, the people, the cities, and the giants are too great for us. I don't know, how many know who Enes Kanter is? Does anybody know who Enes Kanter is? He's a basketball player, played for the Thunder last year, and now he plays for New York. They traded him. Him and LeBron James got this little argument. Enes Kanter is from Turkey. Okay? The Turkish government wants him killed. He's not allowed to go back to Turkey because he stood in opposition of the president, of the king or whatever they have. And so his family disowned him. Enes Kanter's family in Turkey disowned him. He cannot go back home. If he goes to Turkey, he'll be killed instantly. Do you really think he's really upset about LeBron James being mad at him? Do you really think that bothers him whatsoever? No. So can I ask the question of the church, and you're supposed to be the church, right? If God says you're His, if God says you're His son and daughter, if God says that you are above and not beneath, if God says that He's blessed you, if God said He's given you, if God said this is your land, if God said you have to take it by force, if God said all those things, why do we care when people say you can't?
Come on.
Right.
Why? Somebody mad at me? Why do you care when somebody says, oh, you can't do that? Oh, I can't. Okay. Excuse me, no. God said I can and I shall. I don't care what Joe says. I care what God says.
Amen.
I don't care what Sam or Bill or Joe or Phil, whoever says. What did God say? God said we could. And so we miss opportunities because we put more weight on what they say than what God says. What does God say? God says you can, so let's go do it. They're not willing to face the beast. They're not willing to face the bees. Let's go back to Egypt, is what they say. Let's go back to Egypt. We can never return from where we came. Bon Jovi sang a song that says you can't go home. You can go home, but it's never the same. You know, my mother lives in a house on the same property as the house I grew up in, but it's not the house I grew up in.
Right.
It's a whole different house. It's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different smell. It's a whole different everything. The whole house is different. They tore down the old house and built a new house right on the same spot. But it's not my home. It's not my childhood home. It's not, I have no attachment to it whatsoever. It's just my mom's house, where she lives right now. Now my mother's 84 years old. I don't know how much longer she's going to live. I don't have any idea. She could live another 10 years. She could live another 10 minutes. I don't have any idea how long she'll live. I don't have any idea. But right now, it's only special to me because it's her house. Right. But when she's gone, that house has no attraction to me whatsoever. None. And so why would I ever want to go back to a place that I don't have any attraction to? What do you mean? Here's what I mean. We say we're saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, right?
Yeah.
We used to say that. Saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. What does that mean? I'm saved by grace of God. I'm ready to go to heaven. I'm sanctified. I'm set aside for God's use. I'm full of the Holy Ghost. I'm full of the presence of God inside.
Amen.
That's what it used to mean. So if I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, I'm not supposed to want to go back to the land I came from and the sin I came from.
Right.
Amen.
And why does that hold any attraction to me whatsoever? Why would drug abuse Why would they ever hold any more treasure? Well, I'm addicted. Yeah, but I thought I came out of that.
Yeah.
They were addicted to the Egyptians, and they got free from the Egyptians. They were addicted to the flesh pots, but God delivered them. God delivered them. Oh, let's go on. Let's go back to Egypt. You can never return from where you came. There's nothing there for me. There's nothing there for me. My life started anew in 1992, and there's nothing that I need to go back to prior to 1992. There's nothing I need to go back to in 1987. There's nothing I need to go back to in 1988, 1989, or 1990, 91. There's nothing I need to go back there for. I've not left anything back there that I need. I've taken things with me that I needed to take with me. I've taken experiences that I had, and I've taken those with me. But there's no sin back in that day that I need to go back to and I should desire. There's no sin in my life I should desire for back in the day. Once my life changed, it should have changed forever. So let's not go back to Egypt. Let's go forward. Let's go back to where God has called. Let's go to where God has called us and not back to where God placed us. Come on, help me just a minute. Help me. Come on, help me. There's nothing for me to go back to. The people cried all night because they were afraid of the challenge of taking the promise that God had given them. Now, I want to ask you a question, and I'm trying to shorten this up as much as I can because we're running out of time. But I'm going to ask you a question, church. Why is it that you cry over fear of what God has called you to?
Come on.
What are you talking about, Brother Jeff? When God has opened a door and called you into a land of promise, don't you cry over it, and don't you weep over it. Don't you cry and try to change God's mind to bless you. What do you mean? Here's what I mean. God's opened up a door, and He said, go through it. But God, there's giants. Well, of course there's giants. You're going to face giants.
Amen.
Well, there's walled cities. Well, of course there's walled cities. But God, you don't understand. The sons of Anak are there. Well, of course they're there. They were there when I opened it up. It didn't take God by surprise. There were giants in the land.
Come on.
It didn't take God by surprise that there were walled cities. It didn't take God by surprise. He placed them in the right place at the right time. You really understand what I'm telling you? He knew exactly what was there when He opened the door.
Amen.
Oh. People cried all night because they were afraid of the challenge. How many times have you cried because you're afraid of the challenge? How many times have you cried because you're afraid to do what God's called you to do? They're taking the promise of God that He had given them. Moses sent 12 spies into the land. They were supposed to be the leaders of the tribes. Come on, I'll let that soak for a second.
Amen.
They're the supposed leaders of the tribe.
Come on.
Not just 12 men. Oh, go get Josiah. Goliath. Go get them. No. Go get the best that we got. Go get the leaders. And take them. We all quiet in this house.
Come on.
Because Moses sent the 12 spies in the land that were supposed to be leaders of the tribes. Leaders. Leaders. Not cowards. Not scared.
Amen.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with being scared. Everybody's scared. There's something wrong with letting fear control you.
That's right. Come on.
Andy, in the Marines, were you ever scared?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Everybody's scared.
That's right. Come on.
Scared is just an emotion that you deal with.
That's right.
I promise you, when World War II, they hit those beaches and the front of that boat opened up and bullets were whizzing by their head, they didn't say, boy, isn't this fun. They're scared to death. They're just kids. 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. Bullets flying by their head. Bullets flying, people dying right beside them. People get shot in the head right beside them. Of course they're scared. What do you do with your fear? You control it? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you control it. And you do your duty, right? I love, we were in a small group Thursday, and Kim shared this. She asked Andy, what does a soldier do? He said, I don't know, I'm a Marine. I love it! How long has it been since you've been out of the Marines?
93.
93, and they're still like, I don't know, I'm a Marine. We had to pull him off camera. I was going to have Hey, but he should be proud of that. God got to be proud, man.
Amen.
You got to be proud of that for your service.
Come on.
Got to be proud, man.
Yeah.
Because when the chips are down, you have to do your duty. And you got to do what God's called you to do, just like the same thing as in the military. When the chips are down, you got to do what God's called you to do.
Yeah.
Like it or not. I'm sure you didn't like every duty you had to do. I'm sure there was times that you didn't really care for your commanding officer. That sweetheart of a guy he was, I'm sure. Okay? Listen, I heard how you talked about me. I can imagine. Okay, so listen. No, just kidding. But they caused the people to doubt the promise of God. The 12 leaders caused the people to doubt.
Come on.
10. They caused the people to doubt the promise of God because they were of their unwillingness to believe in where God was taking them.
Amen.
I love it that God named them all.
Mm-hmm.
I love it that every one of their names is in the Bible for you to read. And you can break them all down to what their names mean. I did that before. I don't have it with me tonight, but I've done that before because I was curious what their names mean. I didn't know if it was shorty or, I didn't know what their names meant. So I wanted to find out what their name. I've done it before. But all their names mean something. If the Lord delighted in us, God, Moses, Aaron, if the Lord delighted in us, Moses and Aaron fell to the ground before all the people. Let's go to chapter 14 of Numbers, verses 1 through 11. So all the congregation lifted up their voices and cried. Excuse me. And the people wept that night, and all the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron and the whole congregation of them. If only we had died in the land of Egypt. If only we had died in the wilderness. Why has the Lord brought us to this land to fall on the sword, that our wives and our children should become victims? Would it not be better for us to return to Egypt? So they said one to another, let us select a leader and return to Egypt. And Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes. And they spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, the land we passed through to spy out is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delight in us, then he shall bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Yeah. Only do not rebel against the Lord, nor fear the people of the land, for they are for our bread. Their protection has departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them. And all the congregation said to stone them with stones. Now the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of meeting before the children of Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will these people reject me? And how long will they not believe me? With all the signs which I have performed among them. Mm-hmm. Church, can I ask you a question? How long shall we tempt God? How long shall we set idle while our city begins to decay? I've lived in this town all my life. I've lived in this city all my life. This neighborhood that this church is in, I grew up in. I grew up 2 blocks from here. And I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I moved off from this side of town and just let it go. I'm ashamed of the condition of the houses in this city. We just accepted it as this. Oh, well, we're just poor. Shut that up. We are not poor.
Come on.
We have a poor mentality.
Mhm.
We're not poor. I grew up in this town and there was pride. And you're not supposed to have pride. No. You're supposed to have the spirit of pride.
Right, come on.
I'm proud of my children. I'm proud of my wife. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of my church. I'm proud of my God.
Amen.
But I don't have the spirit of pride.
Come on.
There's a difference. I grew up in this city where there was pride in the way your own house looked. And the way that the street looked. And you didn't throw your lawn clippings out in the middle of the road to get caught up in the drains. You didn't do that. That's when I grew up here. We had civic pride. When I was a little kid, the Lions Park was an amazing park. I don't know what it's called now. The Lions Park was amazing. It had a train that went through it.
Man.
It had monkeys.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It was an amazing, amazing place. But we allowed mediocrity to creep in. We allowed it to settle in our spirits. We allowed it to just be part of our life.
Mhm.
I'm ashamed. I was driving around this neighborhood. I was looking, and I think it'd be great for this church if we start cleaning up just our neighborhood.
Mhm.
We don't have to ask anybody. There's enough empty houses around here that nobody cares if we mow the grass. No one cares if we get the limbs straightened up. There's a house right here next to us. There's limbs in the front of the house, and windows are knocked out. There's 1, 2, 3 houses up. There's another one. The grass is this high, and
The yellow one.
that other one. And the gutters full of tree limbs. And this,
I read the other day that in Oklahoma, there are 6,000 pieces of litter for every mile.
6,000 pieces. Oh, by the way, all you guys who drive pickup trucks and throw your trash in the back, it doesn't just disappear. It goes on the road. The trash ferries just don't come by and swoop it up.
True.
Okay, no more. I'm sorry, this thing's gonna make me drive me nuts. Okay. 6,000 pieces of trash for every mile? That is crazy. And how many have Walmart trees? What's a Walmart tree? Bags in the trees. Amen? It drives me nuts. Okay. But I grew up in this town where people cared. And I still think people care. I just think they've been beaten down so much that they just accept it. Accept it. Can I just get into our business really bad? I walked around the church. Jesus Christ, help us. This is God's house. This is God's house. Man, we have a lot of work to do. I know we're trying to move. I get it. I know we are. I know we're planning on moving. But God, this is God's house right now, man. There's some stuff that's got to be fixed around here. It looks like trash. The paint job on this church, we ought to all be embarrassed. Now, how many of you noticed that? The overspray on the metal? Really?
Yeah.
Really? You wouldn't have your house look like that. Oh, it got quiet now. We wouldn't have overspray on our eaves and just leave it like that. We wouldn't have overspray on the windows and just leave it like that. I was so mad at myself to get so busy with everything else to forget this is God's house. Bless you, Doug.
Thank you.
Where sister, I believe it's where Tricia is. Is that where that carpet's jacked up right in front of you? Where Nick's at? Huh?
Right here.
Jesus. We're talking about something that drives me nuts. When I walk in here and I see that drive me crazy. This is God's house. I know that's stuff that don't matter. I get it. But But they fell on the ground and they tore their clothes and they said, you know what? God has given it to us.
Amen.
God has said we can have it. God said, and if God delights in us, then when are we going to do what it is that God's called us to do? And I love this in verse 11 when the Lord said to Moses, how long will these people reject me? How long? How long are we going to be comfortable? You know how easy it would be just to stay and not do anything? Because I got to tell you, I'm going to share my heart with you. I've got 5 more minutes to do that. We have enough money in the bank that we can cruise for the next 15, 20 years and never be bothered. We can. We can pay our utilities. We can pay the insurance. We can pay the insurance on the vans. We can buy new vans. We can do whatever. We have enough money to do that stuff and never step into what God has for us. Or we can get a little bit uncomfortable and go into a land where the giants are. And go into a land where the cities are walled.
Yeah.
Go into a land where people are hurting and dying. Or we could be in our cocoon, come to church, get sang to, get preached to, give our offerings, give our tithe, be blessed. I'm not saying you wouldn't be blessed, be blessed. Because we're doing what God said. I mean, we're giving, we're receiving, we're giving out, we're helping people, we're doing stuff. We feed more people. I think we feed half a Seminole most of the time. We feed a lot of people. We have a lot of things like that. We clothe people. We do a lot of good stuff. But is that really what God's, the only thing that He's called us to do? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. So 11, verse 11, when He says, how long will these people provoke me or reject me or ignore me? How long? I know I read out of the New King James. I hope that doesn't mess anybody up. How long will they not believe me with all the signs I performed among them? Church, I think I first set foot in this church in 1970. I was about 9 months old, about a year old. 1970 is the first time my family set foot in this church. There was a man named Harry Ford here at that time. Harry Ford preached in this very room for 20 years. He preached in this very pulpit, not this pulpit, but this very room, on this stage back here, for 20 years, telling us and showing us signs and wonders of things that God had done, the promises of God in our life, and how God had blessed our lives. There was another man by the name of Harold Turner that spoke in this room for 31 years. For 31 years, he raised his voice in this room and told the church about the things that God would do and the things that God has done. And we saw miracle and we saw healings and we've seen people's marriages put together. We've seen families put back together. We've seen all these miracles and all these signs, and we've seen people give things that they didn't have to give, but they gave them anyway, and God blessed them with greater. We've seen all those things. And that's just 51 years. The last 6 years, I've spoken in this building about where we're going, how God has taken us to another level, from that horizon to another horizon. And from this place to another place. So in verse 11, God just speaking to the Israelites, and He says to Moses, how long will these people reject me? And how long will they not believe me with all the signs that I have given them? With all the signs that God has given you in your life, with all the blessings that God has laid on your life. Now listen to me, there's nobody in this church right now that's any worse off than you were when you first started coming here. I promise you. You can't find yourself saying, oh, I'm worse in poverty now than I'll spit everywhere. I'm worse in poverty now than I was. No blessings in this house.
Amen.
It is.
Amen.
It is in this house. Blessing is in this house.
Yes. Amen.
Sign and wonders. How How long will we reject God and His calling? And never go back. Moses and Aaron fell on the ground for all the people. Joshua and Caleb showed their indignation toward the people's disbelief. This land is exceedingly good. If the Lord delights in us, He'll give it to us.
Yep.
So where are you this evening? Are you scared? We're all scared at times. Are you unwilling? Are you ready to go back to your old life? Are you ready to go back to the way we used to do church? I get a little weary of that too, because we forget all the bad stuff and just remember the good stuff. Are you anticipating the challenge to receive the reward? See, because you don't get rewarded without a challenge.
Right.
You don't get the ribbon without winning the race. You don't get the trophy without being the champion. You don't get to go to Disney World without being the champion, the MVP, right? You don't get to do all those things without God first having you have a challenge. It's never easy. And it's always challenging. It's supposed to be hard.
No.
That's the only way that you'll appreciate the victory. It's supposed to be hard. You're supposed to trust God. You're supposed not to have your own. Listen, God's not going to map everything out for you and give you every dime you need for the challenge. It's not going to happen that way. He's never done it like that before, and He's never going to do it for you. He told Abraham what? Leave and go to a country. Where? I'll show you. What? Where's that at? Where's I'll show you at? Right?
Right.
He told Moses, take your people to the promised land. Where's it at? I'll show you. When you get there, I'll tell you. He got them there, and the people said no. I'm sure Moses was pretty happy about that. Especially when they said, well, get us a leader, take us back to Egypt. He said, I thought it was a leader. Well, I guess not. Guess not. He let them out of slavery, but they want to go back. The church, can I just share with you? I got 2 minutes. Can I just share with you? That God Himself has called us to win a generation. Not by ourselves and not for ourselves, but to win one. He's called us to win a generation. He's called us to be the best. He's called us to be excellent. Excellent. Be holy, for God is holy. He didn't say be mediocre. No. He didn't call us to mediocrity. He called us to greatness. Well, what is greatness to you? Whatever greatness is to you. What are you able to give? What are you able to perform greatly? Give your best. Give the best you have. Amen? Well, I hope you got something out of this tonight, because I sure felt like I sure felt good preaching. Amen. Stand your feet.